Harrison, and we are creating vibe coding for machine learning. Now, I was in a master's program at NYU for machine learning, and throughout the first month, basically the assignments consisted of what I would consider as basic tackle challenges. And I quickly identified that there's a pattern to how a machine learning model is trained. You always start with some initial data analysis to kind of understand the data. What are the correlations? What are the percentage of missing values and whatnot? And then from that, you use human intuition to devise how to clean the data and then train the model on that data. Now, what we are creating is an autonomous solution to this problem. Now, the problem itself is that small to medium-sized businesses do not have the resources or the expertise to know how to derive insights from their data or train predictive models on their data. We are creating a natural language interface platform where they can simply upload or connect their data, and the exploratory data analysis and the model training will be done fully autonomously. Now, just some simple math here. If we're charging a subscription of $25 per month, and there's about 616,000 small and medium-sized businesses, this is a market opportunity of 184 to 739 million. And what makes Azlon different is that we are taking a fully autonomous approach to this. For instance, if you try to do this using Cursor or Windsurf, you can do it, but you need to have the knowledge to first know what questions to ask, like create this scatter plot for me based on these two features, and basically do everything step by step. All the competitors are akin to that in that you have to have the knowledge and the expertise to know what to ask to make it do what you want. And this is our technical implementation of how we're going to accomplish this. If you look on this diagram to the right, you get an input which is predict column X, and here's the data. There's a systematic exploratory data analysis process to build a context for the data. And then once that context is fully accumulated, then the model can then the LLM can decide that the model is ready to train. Once it gets to that stage, it goes to an autonomous coding process, which generates the model training script, runs the script, and then feeds the output back. This is a self-healing process, so if there are any errors in the code or the model does not have a high predictive accuracy, it will revise its approach until it achieves a good result. So we have a basic online MVP, agentazlon.com, but our locally running version is much more impressive. Here's a Spaceship Titanic tackle challenge. Just by giving the data and pasting in the challenge descriptions, we were able to achieve 340 out of thousands of submissions. There's me right there. And that's the presentation.
That's good. Does it also think about like the pre-work, like the project or the kind of app you want to make? Does it think about all that? Does it create like a game plan for it, and then you go into detail with that, like a full-fledged AI engineer?
Yes, exactly. So the user would provide what they want in natural language, and it would create a plan for that, and there would be a confirmation stage just to make sure what it's doing aligns with what the user wants, and then the user would click confirm, and then after that, the full process would be autonomous, and then once the model is trained, the model weights are stored in a cloud storage provider, and then those weights can be called upon at any time to make a prediction.
And if there's a bug or troubleshooting, does it do it itself and reiterates and?
Yep, that's the power of like the self-healing process in that it generates the code, it runs the code, and if there are any errors in the output, that is fed back to it so that it can then revise the script until there are no errors and a high predictive accuracy is achieved.
So where do you host this solution? Are you going to be putting any cloud providers, because as an enterprise service, not either you have to host anybody. Right, so where do you plan to host this whole solution?
So we use Google Cloud Storage for just storing the data right now. We use AWS EC2 instances to run code, and yeah, that's just because of the the incentives that those providers give us. So Yeah, those are our cloud providers.
I noticed that you had $25 a month per seat. Is that your pricing that you're recommending, or is that a number that you just came up with to determine the market potential? So that's one.
So yeah, that was just kind of an arbitrary estimate of how much we could charge for the service. That's subject to change based on a demand and cost analysis.
Have you tested this out, and both from a price and from a usage perspective, any traction?
So we found that people don't really want to clone a GitHub repo and run some commands to use it. And yeah, we're actively developing it so it can be a full-fledged web-hosted service. Currently, the web-hosted implementation is limited, but that's what we're working on. That's why we need funding. So, okay.
I'm thinking about who your customer is. I imagine you're looking for a customer who has some pretty sophisticated needs, and they would need something like this. They can't just do it with similar technology. And you were probably looking for a customer who has no ability to do this on their own, and therefore they need to purchase a subscription. So what kind of customers are you thinking about who need this technology, have no ability to do something similar on their own, and are willing to put their trust in a technology that they therefore do not understand? What tasks do you envision them doing, and how does that fit into your pricing?
Great question. So, simple example, let's say there's a dog washing clinic. Businesses, they collect the transaction data as well as the name and the information on the dog. They have that data, so since they're collecting those features of the dog itself, they can easily identify if that dog has returned to them. So, for instance, if they see like 60% of dogs are not showing up again in their data set, they have a high churn percentage. They could simply ask something like, predict what type of customers are not coming back, so we can figure out how to solve that, so we can lower our churn rate.
Thank you.